Hello, welcome back to podcast number 9 of Off the Woodwork, and it's a bumper show in store for you today. We've got me, Sam, and 2 more.
It's me, Kris, I'm back. Hello, did you miss me?
And then you have me, Pablo, from last week as well.
Yes, I had you on loan, didn't I, last week, but I've decided to sign the contract and include you. Yes, a lot to talk about today, and Kris, he's got loads to talk about.
Yes, I do.
He takes 1 week off, and then suddenly everything happens for Tottenham.
So many things happened. Obviously, we're talking about the sacking of Mauricio Pochettino last Tuesday. Came as a shock for many Spurs fans. Not only Spurs fans, but for you, obviously.
I had a feeling when he was sacked, because it was at, I think, what was the time was the announcement? Like 8 o'clock or something? They might have had someone lined up just to then appoint the next morning.
Yeah.
But still, after the
It was
the job
sacking
is
and
done.
then appointment, just straight away.
What happened? I was on my phone. I was on Twitter, and suddenly the club statement came up. It just popped up on my phone, and I thought to myself, we haven't had a club statement in a while. Last time we had a club statement was with regards to the stadium that was going to be delayed. So I was like, what's this about? And then suddenly I get a notification from Sky Sports saying that Pochettino was sacked, and it's sort of, I don't know why I felt, but it felt sort of unreal. It's, the shock of it. And I think the worst thing is the way that we treated him. We replaced him in about 8 hours because, as you said, the news broke up about 8 o'clock.
About that. How long do you think they'd had Mourinho lined up for then?
So apparently, people are saying that it started after our draw against Watford, 1-1, which was a month ago now. So they've been talking for, Daniel Levy and Mourinho have been talking for over 3 weeks before the appointment. And that was all done behind the players' backs, and it was done behind Pochettino's backs, I think.
So he was, given all those interviews, given all those press conferences, unaware that his future was being compromised.
Exactly. And, the Levy's argument was that our Premier League form, especially our away form, we haven't won a game since January this year, when we beat Fulham 2-1, and that was Harry Winks scoring a winner in 96th minute. I think we watched that game together, Sam, in your flat.
Yes, I do remember your jubilant celebrations.
That was our last away win. But I just feel like the thing that he's done for us, as you mentioned, we talked about before the podcast a little bit, as you mentioned, the way that he transformed the club from being mid-table Europa League
worse than Arsenal,
way worse than Arsenal, way off the top to title challenges in the space of 2-3 years, and taking us to the Champions League final in Madrid this year. And the way that I just feel that the fans didn't have a chance to say goodbye, and the fans didn't ask for him to go, and he goes before Unai Emery at Arsenal or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is very bizarre to me.
Pablo, what was your take on it?
Even though they're still in Barcelona, so that's surprising that they actually sacked Mauricio. I think he was a really good coach for Spurs, and obviously many teams are gonna line up to sign him. I think maybe he could go to Bayern Munich, but as you guys were saying, I think the treatment from both, not too much from the fans, but like the Liga and the club, they didn't treat Pochettino right. I think maybe if they waited until the end of the season, could have been the right move. I don't know what they offer Mourinho. I don't know if he's the right manager for the club, but we'll see. Obviously, he won his first game, so we'll see in the Champions League.
Winning start at West Ham. Good one to win.
Yes, it's a London derby, always a tough place to go. A tough game, but the thing with Mourinho is he can't make huge sudden changes to the club. There is no way. So the style of play is going to stay roughly the same in every game this season. But we saw some improvement, especially in attack, the attacking threat, especially in the first 70 minutes. We looked very good on the ball. However, the last 20 minutes, the mistakes that we made resembled, were very similar to what Pochettino was trying to do with our defence. So I still believe that the main problem that Spurs and Mourinho will face this year will be to sort out the defence. But yeah, going to the game itself. 3 goals, 3-0 up in the first 50 minutes. Looked very comfortable on the ball. Conceded in the last 20 minutes, but West Ham just simply did not have enough time to bring it back.
Yes, very good. And yeah, you wouldn't believe it either. The other side, Norwich, we won a game. We did a win. Yes.
It's an away game as well.
We did a win. We kept a clean sheet away from home.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yes, that was our first win, I think, since September the 15th when we beat Man City. So a long time coming, but I think the main difference was we had Christoph Zimmermann, our second central defender. We had him back for the first time in a while, and we had 2 fit centre-backs on the pitch, and we won a game and we kept a clean sheet. Injuries have plagued us all season, and finally we had a much more balanced side out and took advantage of the fact Everton had been struggling under Marco Silva. Played well in the first half, but didn't score, and then took our chance when it came in the second half. And then watching the highlights, Everton had a few chances, but never.
From Tossen and also who was it? Sigurdsson as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Tim Krul was amazing.
Tim Krul was good enough.
You've mentioned Marco Silva, Sam. There's been plenty of rumours, especially today and yesterday, that he was going to be replaced by Eddie Howe or David Moyes. How do we feel about that?
I read the rumour about David Moyes. And Eddie Howe surely wouldn't leave Bournemouth. He's done a cracking job there, and if he does leave them, it will be to a much bigger club, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe Man United have got their eye on him. I'm not sure about that. Although I heard Man United think about appointing Poch.
Yes, I
which
did.
Wouldn't be a surprise. To
I
be
would not
honest.
be surprised.
Oh, yeah, that would be a great move.
And I wish Poch
for Manchester
all the very
United.
best wherever he goes, because he definitely deserves it.
But yes, for us, we didn't move out of the bottom 3, but Aston Villa, they play tonight. If they drop points, then we'll be within 1 win of moving out. And we've got winnable games coming up. Arsenal at home next Sunday. They're struggling at the moment. And then we've got Southampton at home and Sheffield United at home. So it can change quickly in the Premier League if you get a couple of wins. Obviously, it is a start. It's a 3rd win on the board this season, and they are hard to come by, but players need to believe, fans need to believe. Going to be lots more ups and downs until the end of the season, but we've got some players fit now. We've got to win, we've got to start, and we can hopefully approach Christmas and continue our momentum.
I think Arsenal should be an easy win.
Well, to be fair,
Sheffield.
yes, they're struggling a lot at the moment. The rest of the Premier League, Liverpool and City going strong, 2 more wins for each of them. Sheffield United and Man United 3-3 yesterday, and very, very entertaining game. Not sure how Sheffield United didn't win, or in a way how Man United didn't win. Sheffield United went 2-0 up and then were 3-2 down, but controversially got themselves an equaliser in the last minute. Pablo, what was your thoughts on Liverpool's another late victory for them?
I just want to remark that seeing all the games, I just realised that this last weekend has been all bar. VAR all over.
Again,
all over the place, yes.
Once again.
For example, in the Leicester game, Maddison, his penalty was ruled out.
Oh, I watched
and then
that
they
today,
redid it as well, and then Jamie Vardy scored the 2nd goal. Then with Arsenal as well, and with Manchester United and City played really well. But also with Liverpool, as we were talking, they ruled out the first goal for Crystal Palace. And then as I told you, Zaha was going to be our major problem, scoring the equalizer, but then, we had a little bit of luck. The top of the league luck, I would say, with Firmino, but we have a really front 3, really great front 3, so
yes,
really happy to win.
As for the table then, as I said, moving up to 18th, Fort Norwich getting a bit closer. West Ham starting to slip down there after a poor run of form, and Spurs still labouring in 10th, but chances to... Arsenal 8th, Man United 9th, Tottenham 10th. You wouldn't imagine that.
Believe that, no.
Close
That's
right
why
now.
top 6 this year could be very different from what we used to or have been used to in the past few years. But as you can see, Tottenham sitting in 10th with 17 points, and then Wolves in 5th with 19. So 2 points difference between 5th and 10th. So pretty close.
From the 5th to the 11th, there's a 3-point difference. That's
exactly. But
so
as you
really
mentioned,
close.
Sam, teams in the top 10, which include Wolves, Sheffield, and Burnley, and Leicester in 2nd.
Burnley somehow made it in there.
Yeah, Leicester the team to watch at the moment. Can't stop winning, 5 wins in a row, and Vardy can't stop scoring either. Fantasy football was back this week, and for me, 47 points pending the result tonight between Newcastle and Aston Villa. I've got Jack Grealish, so hopefully he can get me a few points. My captain, Aubameyang of Arsenal, not the best decision, but he still got me an assist, so I got 10 points. Jamie Vardy, he's the one I should have captained. 12 more points for him. And the best bit about what happened with his penalty, he missed the penalty, and then it had to be retaken, so he didn't get the I think it's
-2. I think,
-2 for missing a penalty, so that was perfect. But otherwise, a very, very average week.
Yeah, very similar for me. 44 points pending as well, with Wesley up front for Aston Villa against Newcastle tonight. I captained Sterling, which also wasn't the best of choices.
I was unlucky there, because his goal, how was that offside?
No idea. Anyway, he got me 4 points. Highest scoring players on my team were Jamie Vardy with 12 and Sadio Mane with 9. Only 1 point below the average this week.
You got fantasy football, Pablo?
I have it on the website, but I don't use it that much now. I should actually use it. So right now I would say I got 0 points, but in my mind I got 100.
Well, we can all dream, mate.
Exactly.
The Championship then this week, another win for West Brom, another late win actually, a penalty for them, giving them a 2-1 win against Sheffield Wednesday. At Leeds, a win for them saw them up to second place. Both Leeds and West Brom unbeaten in the last 5 at the moment. West Brom only lost 1 game all season. And the table finally starting to just
I was going to say,
break out a little bit.
Less tight. So West Brom at the top with 36 points, then Leeds sitting in second, 2 points behind. And then we start to break away a little bit in third, Preston with 31 points. Also mid-table is looking less tight as well. No major point differences between 15th Birmingham and 6th Swansea, only 7 points, so still tight, but a bit of definition is starting to appear in the table.
Euro 2020 qualifying matches, that's concluded this week. Wales now that through to Euro 2020, and Gareth Bale's celebration and what he said. Well, Pablo, as the Spanish correspondent here, what did you? Do they hate him in Madrid now?
Obviously, I'm not a Real Madrid fan. I said in the previous one that I was a Barcelona fan. So, but I like the controversy here because even if Gareth Bale celebrated saying Wales, Golf, and Madrid in that order, I feel it was disrespectful for Real Madrid, and probably if I was me as the president or Real Madrid coach Zidane, I wouldn't boo him or even play him anymore. But he decided to play him, and fans boo him, even if the Real Madrid win in the end 3-1 against Real Sociedad. So it was a little bit of controversy there. We'll see if he plays against PSG on Tuesday as well. So
I'm not sure whether I'd go as far as saying that they shouldn't play him, because
not ban him.
He's got a lot of talent.
Obviously, but we know that Spanish fans, especially Madrid fans, treat their club as religion. It's really important to them. It's so for them, it's obviously going to come as number one, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
But with Bale saying that it's Wales first, then Golf, and then Madrid, that probably outraged them. Maybe not the fact that Wales was before because it's his country, it's where it's from, but probably the Golf aspect of the statement. But I don't think booing your own player is the way to go. I mean, they need support, whatever it is. But I can see where they're coming from.
It's actually crazy how it went from Bale actually being a superstar in Real Madrid and winning them a lot of Champions League, and he did such an amazing job. But then now, because his form has decreased, and now they're getting younger players who are more promising, like Rodrigo or Vinicius Junior, and now they have Hazard as well. Obviously, they expected a lot of Bale for being Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't expect Benzema to be Cristiano Ronaldo. They expected Bale at the beginning to be Cristiano Ronaldo when he left. But because he hasn't done that, because it's impossible to do, obviously now they are kind of outraged, especially with this.
A draw for Republic of Ireland against Denmark means they'll have to settle for the playoffs along with Scotland as well. And I saw that in the draw, Northern Ireland, also their Republic of Ireland could play Northern Ireland. Yeah. So that could be a tasty match. But yeah, Euro 2020 or the World Cup, which of the international ones do you prefer? Because England haven't always qualified for the World Cup, but we've had some good times at both.
2 amazing tournaments, 2 completely different vibes. The Euro 2020, a bit closer to home, wherever it is. World Cup, not so much. But for me, I think I would have to say the World Cup. It's got that something
Yeah.
special about it. It's,
Yeah.
when you look at the trophy, you associate the trophy with that competition straight away. You know what it is. And it's got that magical feeling. You know, we've only won it once in 1966.
Should have been last year.
It should have been last year, but that feeling of
Almost came
hunger.
home,
It's just
almost
that
came
feeling
home.
of hunger that we're constantly striving. And I think that there's more sort of anticipation and excitement before the World Cup rather than the Euros. The Euros, don't get me wrong, it's a big deal, especially that now the semi-finals and the final are going to be played at Wembley next year. So that's going to feel a bit closer to home. But the World Cup is something that, you know, every player anywhere wants to win. The Euro maybe is a bit less important just down that list. So that's my opinion.
Pablo, Spain, they've won both, haven't they, in the last decade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. What did you enjoy most? Was it Spain's, I think 2010, I think they won it?
Yeah,
2010,
that was the
2012,
World
and then
Cup,
2016.
in South Africa. That was really a special moment. I was watching with the family and friends, and it was really intense. It was funny because I used to live in Amsterdam not a long while ago, but when I was watching that game, I was like, I don't know how old I was, but I was watching it, and I hated how rude and all the fouls that the Netherlands were doing to Xabi Alonso as well. I was like, oh wow, this is like, why is this happening? Ref, are you deaf or something? And then the goal just came in, Iniesta, and it felt so good. Everyone in the streets were screaming, and then it came. So
Yeah, well,
was really good.
it's just in England.
So I feel like a World Cup is better than a Euros. I'm gonna lie about it.
Yeah, the vibe around England last summer when we got to the semi-final was like incredible. It was, the sun was shining.
Probably the best summer of my life.
Hadn't
Yeah.
rained
Safe
for a
to say.
month.
unfortunate.
Everybody was out on the weeknights drinking.
Yes, the amount of beer consumed in that month.
Oh, it was unfortunate that we lost against Croatia. So. It was funny because my father, well, I was supporting England because obviously Spain lost against Russia before, but I was supporting England, and then I see my father and he's supporting Croatia. I'm like, what? Why are you
I
doing
bet
this?
you were.
And then somehow Croatia did the miracle. Obviously, then in the end, France won easily. So that's football, isn't it?
Now the section that I'm not looking forward to talking about as much today. Cricket, what's happened in the last week or so? You probably haven't seen much of it if you've been sleeping properly, but I haven't. I've been getting up at some strange times to watch England lose another test match overseas, basically. And it started really well. They raised our hopes and then they all came down. It's quite familiar, isn't it, across all sports? England raise your hopes and then
they
crash down.
Yeah.
So what happened then? The first test against New Zealand, they started it really brilliantly. Batting first, Rory Burns, Ben Stokes and Joe Denley got runs on the opening day. England got 241 for 4. Dom Sibley opening the batting for the first time in an England shirt. He looked pretty assured on his debut. The partnership for the first wicket was over 50 as well, which after the Ashes in the summer makes a change. But yeah, the test kind of went downhill from there. England were bowled out for 353 after collapsing on the morning of day 2. They did have New Zealand in a good position at 141 for 4, but failed to make any further inroads. And for the Kiwis, it was BJ Watling, the keeper, and Mitch Santner, the left spin all-rounder. They both got hundreds. Watling got double hundred. That was, I have to say, quite painful to watch. And then England, yes, collapsed in reply. It didn't go well at all. They lost three early wickets. All late on day 4, and then they were bowled out today, just short of 200, and lost the test by an innings. So it's another absolute hammering for England away from home. It's a conundrum that they really can't solve. On home soil, England look a fairly strong test side, but overseas it's just a different world completely. I guess you can compare it to sort of like football as well. You can look really good at home, but sort of here we're talking about like international. And there is one more test match, but we can't win the series and we need to win the next one to get a draw. Otherwise, that's another defeat overseas in test matches. It was a new-look England side. There were a few debutants there, so I probably wouldn't change the team, actually, for the next test. But hopefully can have a better performance. Just across the border to Australia, they played Pakistan, and it was a thrashing for those two. Timpay's side, they bowled Pakistan out for 240 on day one in Brisbane at the Gabba, which is one of the hardest places in the world to win a test match if you're an opposition team. David Warner and Marnus Labuschagne, they scored big hundreds for Australia in an innings of 580. For Pakistan, they did fight hard in reply. Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan both scored runs, Babar getting a ton and Rizwan falling just short, but their efforts were ultimately in vain as Pakistan fell to an innings victory as well. So, talking about pain and how hard it was to watch that England match, I'm going to ask you, what's the most pain you felt watching a match? Or what match in the past have you not slept after or got up the next day and still felt rubbish?
Pablo?
Oh, me? I probably will say a really recent one of, you probably know that I'm a Barcelona, but I'm also a Liverpool fan, so there's a little bit of controversy there myself. But I felt a lot of pain seeing how Barcelona just threw away a 3-0 lead to a 4-3.
Oh yes, I remember that was amazing,
semi-final.
wasn't it? Yeah.
It was an amazing game, but it felt really weird and really strange, especially with my brother just sitting next to me saying, "What the fuck? Like, what's going on?"
What was the reaction from the Spanish press after that? They must have ripped it.
Yeah, no, definitely, especially
people were fuming, asking why Valverde is not being sacked out. Especially also after that, we lost La Copa del Rey against Valencia as well. So people were saying, why is Valverde not out yet? Valverde out, hashtag Valverde out. And he's still there somehow. So...
Well, for me, it's an easy answer, and that's recent flashbacks to the 1st of June 2019 when we lost to Liverpool in the Champions League final. As you're probably aware, I travelled for more than 30 hours to watch my team concede after 30 seconds to a handball, which in my opinion still should not be a handball, but of bias there.
Not be voice correct, because of the rules, it had to be given.
It was a really weird, and I feel like it wasn't as intense as other Champions League finals have.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't intense at all.
But both sides played terrible. Liverpool didn't play well. We didn't play well.
Obviously, I feel like it was the best side, but as you were saying...
a lot of people blamed heat because it was 36 degrees, something like that. But no, just going back to the side of the fans, is just seeing Tottenham fans on the pavement in central Madrid crying their eyes out after the game, knowing that we might have lost, our only chance at winning the Champions League in the next 10 years or so. So that was the most heartbreaking moment. And then, as you can imagine, the journey back to England in a car, which also took about 16 hours, was not the most pleasant.
Can Mourinho, can he get you to the Champions League final?
Well, he's already pledged that he's going to try to win the Premier League next year. Next year, but this year, Harry Kane has recently said, as recently as today, that Spurs are aiming to win the FA Cup and the Champions League this year. So we'll see how that's going to work out. But no, I don't think so. It's unfixable in that space of time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think even if you have a few bad results under Mourinho, I think I'm sure that most fans will appreciate that it's going to. You're kind of planning for next season now, aren't you? Because of where you are in the league.
It's a work on progress.
Liverpool and City and Leicester are running away with it.
Yeah.
Okay, just moving over to the darts very briefly. Another competition this weekend. It's what I love about winter. There's always darts on every Saturday night. And Gerwyn Price nearly made it back-to-back TV titles at the Players' Championship finals in Minehead. He lost narrowly to, you can guess, Michael van Gerwen, 11-9 in a thrilling final on Sunday night. Ian White, he made it through to a major televised semi-final for the first time in his career. That was great to see. He beat William O'Connor 10-9. He would lose to the eventual champion MVG, but great to see him finally break one of those Platos. And about sort of playing on TV, and this goes for any sport as well. Why do some players just struggle to break out of their that zone when suddenly they've got cameras in the face and thousands of people behind them.
Yeah.
Why?
I guess it's just pressure, but players always say that they feel nervous until they touch the ball for the first time in a game. So I think it's just sort of the anticipation and excitement, knowing that it's not just them on the field who care about the result. It's also 40, 50 odd thousand people in the stadium, and God knows how many behind TV screens. So they know how big it is and how important it is for the fans. So I think it's just the pressure. But again, with more experience, why do players get better with experience? Maybe it's because they learn how to deal with all that pressure of TV cameras, of the crowd, and that becomes second nature. So they don't pay attention to it as much as they do when younger players come through.
Okay, finally then, a short preview section of this podcast. A look ahead to this week in sport. We've got a game tonight between Aston Villa and Newcastle, and then Champions League.
Yes, Champions League. Tottenham will face Olympiacos on Tuesday night. Now, I have a ticket for this game, but I might not be able to make it because I have an MRI scan of my knee after I tore my ACL.
What have you been doing?
When I was 12 years old, I played football and I tore my ACL, and it's kind of come back now, so they're just going to check on me. But that's at 5:45. The game's at 8 o'clock. Challenge accepted. I will try to make it. But yeah, Jose Mourinho's first home game at the new stadium. Very interested to see what the reaction of the home fans is going to be, because the fan base is split at the moment. Some of them took the news of Mourinho arriving as a step forward, as the next era in the club's history. Others are still crying after Pochettino. But I think that Pochettino deserves some kind of goodbye. So we'll see what the fans prepare.
Yes, and in the Premier League this weekend, Norwich at home to Arsenal, Sunday at 2 o'clock, not on TV, just televised. Well, no, not on TV, just on Sunday because of their Europa League match. And yeah, got to see that as a game.
Yeah.
We can get 3 points from Arsenal, low on confidence at the moment. But Man United came to Carrow Road a couple of weeks ago when they were low on confidence and smashed us. So yeah,
you can never tell.
I take a point, to be honest. Like points at the moment are important, especially in this run up towards what's going to be a packed Christmas period where you sort of play like 4 or 5 games, don't you, in a few weeks? So that's a chance to
ridiculous,
either break away or even go the other way if results don't go well. And another game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, Tottenham will face Bournemouth on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Now it's good. It should be an interesting game because Tottenham sitting with in 10th with 17 points, with Bournemouth just behind them in 11th with 16 points. So if Bournemouth win, they will overtake Tottenham and jump up in the table to 6th. Also a very important game for Spurs to keep up the confidence after the West Ham victory and the Olympiacos game.
And Liverpool this week. You confident? Napoli at home in the Champions League.
It's going to be a tough game, as you know. Obviously, I'm the kind of person who is going to watch most of the game, but I'm also going to try to see the RB Leipzig game against the Salzburg, against Genk, to see what happens, especially with Haaland, who is right now the top scorer. So I guess Liverpool will win, but especially with this Italian sides like Napoli, anything could happen. They're not in the best form right now, especially with all the trouble they had with the team and the press and all that. So I guess Liverpool will win.
Very good. Just finally, in sport, if you want to watch England probably get beaten again, the second test starts this week, Thursday, 10 o'clock. So it's quite a nice time actually. You can kind of watch the first session and then either choose whether you want to fall asleep or stay up and go through the pain. But away from sports, talking a bit about actually something to mention last night, Pablo. We did talk about our bowling, which we'd be doing.
Last week,
Tell everyone what happened.
So as we said last week, my birthday was in the weekend, and we went on Sunday 24th to bowling place in Acton, especially in Park Royal, and it was surprising. I felt like I was gonna win this really easily, but I got 4th place. My brother did really well, but surprisingly, even if he hasn't played in 5 years, Sam made it with 111 points. So
I didn't start very well. I had
Yeah.
I think I had 35 points after 5 goes, no spares or strikes, and then I got 2 spares and 1 strike on my last 5 goes, and it just
and they
clicked.
just made it through. Just made it through.
And finally, in terms of university, we've only got one more podcast until Christmas. One more, or 2 more weeks of university left, although probably less than that with the strike.
With the
that's
strike going
at
on,
the moment.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll try and make next week's one as good as we can, and then we'll probably leave it there for Christmas, and then come back and resume in the new year. But how's everyone coping with the deadlines?
Yeah, we've got 6 deadlines coming up in December. A lot. We've just finished one assignment today, a presentation. Yeah, plenty of essays and a radio package to do. So feeling confident, but we'll see what happens.
We
Touch
will.
wood.
Thank you very much for listening to this one. As usual, any feedback, leave it in the comments. Otherwise, feel free to share it around. Really enjoyed these first 9 weeks, and yeah, looking to make next week's one the best of the lot.
Yeah, yes, we will. Goodbye.
Goodbye.